Hi there. Having trouble with my video here. What the heck?
Hello.
Hi there. Can you hear me? This is Bob. What is going on with my video? Huh. Okay, so the video likes it there. Hello, testing.
Hello,
There
Bob.
we
Can
go.
you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I cannot hear you yet.
Oh, okay. You cannot. Okay. Testing, testing, testing. Why can I? Well, okay, let me close this down. How about now? Can you hear me now? I think OBS Studio's messing me up.
Okay, I'm just trying to see if you can hear me yet. Good, you can hear me. I'm still not hearing you though. I'm still
Why?
speakers.
Testing, testing. Let's see. Microphone, Corsair. There we go. Test, test, test. This is a test of the emergency broadcasting system.
How about now?
How about now? Testing, testing. No testing. It says that I am broadcasting. I'm using that. Let's see. Am I using the Brio?
Hello, Bob.
Hello. Hello, testing, testing, testing.
Okay.
You can hear me?
I can hear you perfectly.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I just had to mess around a little bit because last night's WebEx meeting was on a different, turned out I needed to use a different configuration.
Right.
Today.
When I hit my mic button, I've got so many microphones. I mean, I've got a professional microphone for the podcast stuff here. I've got something on my laptop. I've got one with the camera. I've got one here on my head. I'm like, too many microphones. 150. So I just added a whole bunch of email addresses for a council of advisors for the VOF. Whole bunch of different people, and I did that a few minutes ago, and I'm thinking to myself, I wonder if they'd want an invite to this thing. A little too late. Oh well.
Well, I really didn't want to miss Adrian's presentation today.
We didn't have anybody at the Watts meeting last night show any astrophotography. Adrian was on the road, Jeff was in the air, and Dave Hollenbaugh wasn't on. There was Doug Bach was in the audience, so he couldn't show his stuff. I'm just like, oh come on, guys! Nobody was showing any stuff. I'm like, oh well. There was the short presentation last night was very interesting about the
Yes, I thought it was too.
the precession of the periaps or the perijoves of Io or of the Galilean moons. I'm like, I didn't know it did that, and the fact that they stay together, I want to look that up. I think I want to write that up as an article for the VO. That was fascinating. Yeah, so what's going on is all orbits have a close and a far point, periapsis and an apoapsis. The periapsis of, let's say Jupiter is here, and the periapsis of Io is here. The periapsis of Europa, the next one out, is exactly opposite and they precess slowly around Jupiter, maintaining the same position. It's crazy. I'm like, I didn't know they did that. That's cool.
I think so too, and I really did enjoy that presentation last night.
I'm gonna have to look that thing up. What do you call it? The Laplace resonance. And I saw a video on YouTube a few weeks ago where the guy put the resonance of Jupiter's moon to tones, and it actually sounds like music. It's pretty darn cool. But last night he was showing it. It's not exactly a 1 to 2 and a 1 to 4. It's a little bit off, so they precessed. I'm like, I had no idea they did that. And what was it? The next one out, Ganymede, is like 90 degrees to both of them, so they all precess around Jupiter like that. It's crazy.
You know, Bob, in musical terms, that the slight difference or dissonance would add what is called timbre, tonal quality and interest.
Wow, that would be a tonal quality for gravitational resonances. But yeah, so I was just watching. I was listening to this presentation last night, just going, oh, "Wow!" I had no idea that stuff went on, and the fact that they're so locked together like that's just very cool.
Actually, Bob, that's great, Bob. If you could, just before you put Adrian on, if you could give me a second to do a quotation, I'd love
Sure,
it.
sure.
Yeah. It's very short.
I hope he shows up. Geez, text him. I sent him the link just in case he didn't get it. I'm not sure if he got it or not.
Well, I believe there's 3 of us here. Actually, just us at the moment. I'm a little surprised.
So I was a little disappointed. The fellow who gave the main presentation last night, he didn't get to the Orion drive when he was talking about all these nuclear engines.
Yeah.
Because oh my goodness, there's some videos of some actual tests of that, and they added that as a mod in Kerbal Space Program, so you could actually build rockets that had those things working Orion drive. They're crazy.
Yeah.
Nuclear bombs as propellant.
It's actually good to find a peaceful use for such things.
Yeah, I guess they the designers went to Coca-Cola because they wanted a delivery mechanism that was very similar to like a pop machine delivering cans.
Yeah.
So and then the nuclear test ban treaty came around and we couldn't use nukes in space, so that whole project is But I tell you, these nuclear engines are kind of scary. All the nuclear fission going on in there, and all the waste products. Like, yikes! Very efficient, but
Yeah, on
scary.
a different subject, Bob, I wanted to let you know that Brother Guy is going to be here later this month. He's working on a project that he wants to interview me for. So
Oh,
I'm
neat,
really looking forward to his visit.
neat.
Yeah. think it's in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I just added a couple calendar events of his in March. He's back to his crazy talk schedule. He's flying everywhere. He's giving talks everywhere again. But he's on the train quite a bit. So what is the temperature here? I haven't been outside in a while. Margaret should have pretty much the same stuff I'm having. It says 36,
Just over 0
36
Celsius. Yeah.
30. Didn't feel like 36 degrees when I went and got the mail, but the sun was blasting in my face.
Gosh, it's up to 3C. It was 1C when I looked like 10 minutes ago.
It's funny you use Celsius because I play a whole lot of computer games, and most of them use the metric measurement. So if you're looking at something off in the distance, everything is metric. It's kind of being forced down Americans' throats that way, and I love it. That's hilarious. Everything is metric in games.
Yeah, which is a good idea.
It is. It gets you used to it quickly.
Yeah,
At least distance wise.
yeah, it's too bad.
Temperature wise, I still got a problem with.
It's too bad our country isn't going to switch over, but
Well, English to metric conversion has eaten a few spacecraft.
Mm.
Oh, my parrot is not happy right now. Well, lots of people joining. Hi there. Our guest is not here. I might have to give him a call. Actually, I think I will give him a call.
Hi, Katie. Hi, Katie.
hi,
Good morning.
it's good to see you. Hello, good morning. This is the first time I've been at this particular session. It's very difficult for me to be up this early, but I'm here. I wanted, Adrian's pictures are absolutely breathtaking, so I just really wanted to see what he had to say, hear what he had to say.
Guy, you made it.
I did, but I don't trust me to be on for very long.
Yeah.
We're going into some pretty remote parts of Texas.
I haven't seen you in days.
Unfortunately, our guest is not here yet.
So
Ah,
where are you heading, Guy? Chicago? No.
eventually, I'm going to Baysville, Arkansas, and
Yeah, you're not coming through very
Or he's heading to Arkansas first.
Oh, there you
Arkansas, right?
go.
Anytime, Guy.
Yeah. I can't keep up with you.
I know.
Yeah.
So, Bob, do you want to try calling Adrian directly?
Well, I don't have his number, and I'm looking at the WASP site, and his number is not on the WASP site. I've emailed
Oh
him
no.
and texted
Oh.
him. I'll do it again.
I can get you the number.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm worried maybe he tried to get on yesterday, but well, while we're waiting, why don't we kind of go down the list and tell people where you are and what's the weather like. I'm in the middle of, I'm north of Austin, Texas on a train, and can I even show the video? Probably not. I'm sure there's a way I could turn the camera around and you could see out the window, but there I am. Okay, and David Levy, where are you and what's the weather?
Yes, hello, this is my first visit to the Vatican meetings, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Fabulous.
Thank
Glenn
you.
Fitzgerald?
I'm here in Rockwall outside of
Yeah,
Dallas.
you're muted. I don't know if you. Okay.
Yeah, I had on mute. So
Uh-huh.
I'm a little bit north of where you are. You should be around
Okay.
Waco or Wacko if you're out of state.
Right.
But
Excellent.
weather's pretty nice out here. It's just kind of cloudy and misty, and in the low 70s right now. But the weather's changing.
Yep. Joel Hopko.
Yes, hi, Green Valley, Arizona. We've returned to more typical weather. It should get up into the low 70s today. Unfortunately, it's been a little cloudy. I was hoping to put the wonderful mead, which is on loan from your Tucson chapter there, and but it's been cloudy for the last couple of days. But temperature is very nice. Ideal.
Okay, I'm beginning to break up. So Bob, can you go through the roll from here? Because I don't think
Sure.
I can.
Sure. Okay. Well, who did we? Let's start with Glenn. We you. I'm not sure of the order there.
We did
Um,
Glenn.
We
Yeah.
did. You got me already.
Okay. Joel.
Yeah, I've just heard from me, Bob. I think
Okay.
everybody.
Margaret, you got the same thing I got, and it's about what I said 36 degrees. You had 1C.
I got 3
Yeah.
Celsius now. It's gone up a couple degrees since
I went out and-
previously looked.
I went out and got the mail earlier, and the sun was blasting my face. It did not feel that cold, so I'm quite surprised. But I guess it is.
Well, with no wind, it would be better.
Yeah.
No wind plus sun. Yeah. So I'm near Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Yeah, I'm 30 miles east of you ish. So Tim Martinez,
Hi,
you.
I'm Father Tim Martinez. I'm from Albuquerque, New Mexico. It's overcast completely in here, and it's 54 degrees.
Where my daughter lives in Albuquerque.
Oh, nice.
Gary. I'm gonna murder your last name. I'm sorry. Nizalek.
No, you're close. You're pretty good.
Wow, you're really breaking up. I'm sorry. So James Wren, what is your weather like where you are?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I'm in Anthem, Arizona, just north of Phoenix. Today, in the Valley of the Sun, it's going to be 70 degrees and partly cloudy. So we are warming up.
All right, Richard.
It's cloudy this morning, 80 degrees. We saw the worm moon last night, and it was really beautiful. The worm moon. I guess the worm is after. I guess it's a sign of spring that the worms are coming up through the soil. But we're good here in Corpus Christi, Texas. Thank you.
I have not seen the sky in days. I know there's one out there somewhere. Larry Lebowski.
Hi, this is Larry Lebowski, north of Green Valley and where David is. And so it is now in the low 60s, getting up to the mid 70s, and yes, cloudy.
Hi, Larry.
Hi, David.
Tom.
Hi, folks. Tom Toll, north of Philadelphia, 47 degrees. Sunny for a change.
All right, Tom Towalski. Excuse me.
Yeah, I'm in St. Cloud, Minnesota, just northwest of Minneapolis, and it's overcast here and 25 degrees today.
Clark Miller.
Hi, good morning. It's 53 degrees, clear skies in Pasadena. Thank you.
Frank Angoli.
Hi,
Hi there.
Davenport, Iowa. It's 40 degrees and mostly cloudy here.
Were you ever a radio announcer? Because man, you got that voice. I
Oh,
swear.
thank you.
Stan.
In Philadelphia, we're 42, heading up to 47 and sunny.
Oh, I wish. Well, it's sunny here, but freezing. Katie, what you got weather-wise?
Well, mine's the same as Clark, since we're both in Pasadena. So it's a little over, what does it say, 52 right now? It's a little chilly for me. I don't particularly care for it, but it should be sunny, couple of clouds, but might have some rain in a day or so. Again, we've had so much snow, it's pretty nasty in a lot of places out here. Strange.
Are you like trapped in your house with 9 feet of snow?
No, but I do have a friend I used to work with in Rome who decided to lease a house for the winter up at Lake Tahoe.
How's it working out for her?
Yeah, so he's got like 10 feet of snow. Everything's up to like
My
the
goodness.
floor. So
Okay, great.
he moved.
Okay, have a good day.
I hope she's got an option on a spring rental.
Linda Lapos.
Can you hear me? I'm on a different computer.
You're good.
Okay, I'm Linda Lapos. I'm from Allentown, Pennsylvania. We had snow flurries this morning, and now it's in the 40s and sunny. Supposed to get windy and cloudy again.
Sounds like Michigan. You get all of them in one day. Robert Foley.
Hello, I'm my first time. I'm from a town called Tyndall in southeastern South Dakota, where it's 21 degrees, a balmy 21 degrees and very cloudy. We're expecting some weather tonight and tomorrow.
Right, Gary. And oh gosh, I'm gonna how do you pronounce your last name?
McCorney.
Okay.
I'm in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and it's sunny here and about 39 degrees.
Boy, I would have messed that up. I can barely see the N on my screen here. Holy mackerel, I need new glasses. Joseph.
Hello.
Hi there.
Joseph Stickney from Phoenix, Arizona. Same weather in Phoenix as in Anthem. Partly cloudy, going to be in the 70s. I look forward to seeing Joel Hopko this Saturday at the Kino Border Initiative at the Vatican Observatory table, and maybe some others.
Neat. Kelly, how's the weather where you are?
Hi, I am in East Tennessee in Knoxville. It is bright and sunny and 65.
Ladies and gentlemen, in a few moments we're arriving in Temple, Texas.
James Cook.
Hi there. Excuse me. I'm northwest of Washington. It's 47, gonna get cold tonight.
Okay, well, we know where Brother Guy is. Tom. No, to Alfred.
Alfred Crocker. I'm hi. I'm a little south of Minneapolis in the Apple Valley, and it's 35 degrees. Little sunny interlude, but lots of snow on the ground and more to come.
The real-time pic behind you, or not?
No, that's from last winter.
Bob.
But it looks very much like that now.
How's the weather where you are, Bob? Can't hear you yet. There you go.
Yeah, which Bob? Tucson.
Oh,
No
that's you, Bob.
observations today, cloudy.
Justin.
Justin Golden in Watertown, Connecticut, 43 degrees today and sunny.
Nice. All right, everyone. Well, we usually at this point we have our Paul Muller talk about the VAT, but he doesn't appear to be here. And unfortunately enough, our guest is not here either. So I invited David Levy, who's up in the upper right-hand corner or left-hand corner of my screen here, to visit here because he knows our guest. David, say hi to everyone. I have to make stuff up until we get David here.
Hello, everyone. This is my first time here, and it's a real privilege and a delight to be here. I'm part of the Arizona contingent, and we're getting exactly the same clouds that the Tucson and Green Valley people are getting. Recognize a few of you, It's really good to be here, and I hope that our guest shows up so that we can see some of his magnificent pictures. And a little later, I have a little quotation to read whenever you're ready for it.
Awesome. So I was telling,
Bob,
yes.
I can give you a little bit of the weather. It's been a lot of snow on Mount Graham. Right now it's cloudy. I looked up the clear sky clock and 59 degrees, but the road seems to have been plowed. So, and for those who don't live in Tucson, we've had, at least in the general Tucson area, 3 snow events in the last month, with 2 of them actually leaving real snow on the ground.
I am in the process of editing a podcast from a couple months ago when we had the round table, and I got to the point of Paul Muller talking about the vat and all the equipment that is not really rated for that kind of temperatures, but nothing is. So what are you gonna do? It was pretty funny. I'm the president of the Warren Astronomical Society in Michigan, and we had a meeting last night, and our short presentation was given by a fellow, and he's talking about Laplace resonances in Jupiter's moons, and I was astounded by what he showed. I'd known that Jupiter's moons orbit in a resonance, like Ganymede is a 1 to 2 with Io, and Europa is a 1 to 2. Ganymede is a 1 to 4 with Io, but it's not an exact 1 to 2 and 1 to 4. It's almost. So the weird thing about it is if you got Jupiter here, let's say the close point in Io's orbit is over here. The close point in Europa's orbit is over here on the other side of Jupiter, and that difference precesses and they stay at the same point around Jupiter. Ganymede is 90 degrees off, so it stays like that, and they all rotate around Jupiter like that slowly. The periapsis, I'm like, I didn't know it did that. So that was fun with gravity. Just thought that was, I'm going to have to write that up because that was very interesting. I've never heard of that. I didn't know that the periapsises of those moons rotated around Jupiter like that.
By the way, I just.
Hello, my apologies for being a little
hi,
bit
Adrian.
late, as I had a couple of other things to attend to.
Adrian is always on the road and he's frequently busy. So he he takes a lot of astrophotography and he goes absolutely everywhere. But Adrian, so this is our guest, Adrian Bradley. He is the treasurer of Michigan's Warren Astronomical Society, and he's also on the board of several other astronomy clubs, and he's just an incredibly busy person. But David Levy is here, Adrian, and he wanted to say something for you or to you.
Well, thank you. David. Thank you so much, Adrian. It's so great to hear you and see you today. I'm really looking forward to seeing your photographs this morning, and I do want to say that to me, looking at your photographs, they're like Mozart. They really, really are. I do have a quotation.
I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Adrian. I do have a quotation for you all today. And
all right.
It is from Thomas Gray's Elegy in 1751. And he talks about the theme of darkness. But to my mind, it's not darkness, i.e. depression and darkness, but darkness that happens every night after the sun goes down and the stars begin to come up. He wrote 32 words, and I think that they have a chance of being the most beautiful words ever written. The curfew tolls the knell of parting day. The lowing herd winds slowly o'er the lea. The plowman homeward plods his weary way and leaves the world to darkness and to me. Thank you very much for letting me quote that today.
Thank you, David. It is an honor to call you a friend, and it's one of the reasons that I enjoy doing the things that I do with astronomy. And when I started doing it, it started by doing it visually, looking through a telescope, looking at all these objects, trying to learn the night sky. And then I found a niche where I wanted to continue doing something, even if the night sky was cloudy, even if it wasn't a perfectly transparent night, even if other issues are coming up. And I settled into doing night sky photography where maybe there's some clouds over here, maybe it's clear over there. Maybe there's something else going on, the full moon. You can't do a lot of astrophotography with a full moon because it's too bright. Well, you can take full moon images. And if you know, the doing night sky photography, landscape astrophotography, it has so many different names, became a way of continuing my passion for astronomy and being able to just capture what I see. So it's a cloudy night, I'll capture that, and then I'll come back to the same spot when it's clear. And now I have a story of this is what this place looks like cloudy, and this is what it looks like when all of the stars are out. And so it became a way for me to chase the passion of doing night sky photography. Now I'm ending, this used to be, if I switch I'll just turn this around. Bowling is another passion of mine, and it's something that I enjoy. But I find that whenever I'm outside, night sky, I find peace. And that is, that is one of the things that I truly enjoy, that feeling of peace. I know in the astronomy world, the idea of God as a creator can be an issue with some astronomers. I contemplate that as well, and I think about that. And there are a couple of times I've called in a few favors, and suddenly the sky might clear up, and I'll go, "Oh, thank you, God, for that." I got 15 minutes, and I was able to get a shot of a region of the sky, but then it clouds. Excuse me, and then it clouds back up, and I hop back in the car and make the two-hour drive back home. So that's kind of my story in a nutshell. Just a gentleman wanderer, kind of getting back into my bowling, but will forever do astronomy.
Did you get any pictures of the eclipse in 2017? I've never
I
seen you
did.
show any of those.
That's because I have a video of it, and I would have to look that up to see if I could still find it. It was a rather coarse picture, but if I can find the video one day, I'll show it. It's us going crazy, and you can kind of see the eclipse as it's going, and you can hear all of our voices as we're going absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, I'm kind of torn. We're going down to Tucson to visit my daughter in 2024. And Fred Espenak says, if it's your first time, don't even bother with a camera or telescope. Just watch the darn thing. You'll miss it otherwise. And I'm like, probably going to do that because I haven't seen a total yet.
Yeah, it's an amazing sight. I didn't have my cameras that I use now, or else I would have snapped a couple of handheld shots and then enjoyed it. I did have a couple telescopes on it, and I had an iPhone. And at one point, I was ready to give up the iPhone. I was just going to say, okay, this doesn't seem to be working. Just make sure you look at it. So the moment of totality happened, I made sure my eyes were on the sun directly, not worrying about any camera. I would recommend, if you haven't seen it, watch the moment that totality happens. That is a special moment.
Good advice.
And then it'll sit there in totality. And that's if you happen to have a camera or something going on, give it a try. Also, don't do what I did and forget to look at it through binoculars. Definitely look at totality through binoculars. Take it in visually. Enjoy seeing it. I contemplated what, Native Americans or earlier human tribes looking at this, what they must have thought, like someone stole our sun. What is going on? And you could sort of feel and hear the panic. You can feel the air around you just go still as the animals stop doing what they're doing. They think it's time to batten down for the night. Even the plant life shuts down. we had someone, when the eclipse totality was over, someone came up to me and they said, am I crazy for feeling, I felt the rush of pollen as the, as totality ended. And I said, no, you're not crazy. The plants are thinking it's morning again and they're doing their morning thing. So it is a life-changing event to see that, because it is not very common.
My wife and I stayed in Michigan and we had 80%. And one of the cool things you can do is take a colander that has a bunch of holes in it and just hold it up, and you'll have 100 little crescents on the ground. Or if you're under a tree and there's a shadow of a leaves, you'll see crescents everywhere on the ground. I was pointing that out to people.
That is cool. Yeah, and if you can't see totality, at least see that, where you see the differences that all the shadows make. But when you see totality, you look at the sky and you start to recognize planets. You see that belt of Venus going around the same look as if you were away from the sun. If you go out and you look at the belt of Venus facing away from the sun as the sun is setting, you see that around the entire horizon. It's an entire belt of Venus. So it is a beautiful thing to watch.
So are you on a laptop where you can share some of your pictures?
I can share some pictures with where I'm at now. Yep. It's actually a phone. You can actually share pictures to the iPhone, and I've got the perfect thing. I am going to.
Adrian wows us at Warren Astronomical Society meetings by showing his new stuff every week. And a couple weeks ago, I'm not sure if it was you or Dave Hollenbaugh, but he showed what was really cool was same data, different processing, and the difference in the pictures was just amazing.
I think that it was either Dave Hollenbaugh or someone, but yeah, it's depending on how you process. It says only the host can share, so I think you'll have to give me permission.
Can I do that?
Yeah, in a minute I'm going to be video for a second here.
I am not the host.
Yeah, I ran my schedule a little close. I went in for a little bit of a bowling evaluation, keeping myself busy with hobbies. And later on today, I'll be going back into my work office as our company shares its vision for the upcoming year. So I'll be somewhere watching that. And in the meantime, we are hopefully, Bob, if you're able to give me permission to share, I'll show you a Google share that all of you are welcome to go to.
Yeah, why don't you put, if you have any
post.
links to your stuff, yeah, I hit share on here and it says host is disabled, participant sharing. Well, I am not the host. That would be Brother Guy, who is not online right now.
Yeah, let me.
We got to get this fixed.
Yeah, well, let me share, and I'll invite all of you watching, and especially if you're on your computer.
You gonna put the link in chat?
Yep, I'll put the link in chat. And first we can hit this button, and there's chat, and I'll send to everyone. Check that link out. That is the link from where I would be drawing all of my images if I were sharing those. Yeah, feel free to look at it, and notes, I guess, Bob, put those notes, if you can put those notes for this full moon session into for the podcast, and then we'll just invite everyone to go out there.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's the way that we're gonna have to do it. So, all right, well, I'll entertain. Yeah, let me try. I'll try one more time.
So any of your lighthouse pictures there?
Yeah.
I know there it is. Yeah, about halfway down. Actually, about a fifth of the way down, you'll start seeing some of his lighthouse pics. He's taken pics of the same lighthouse, cloudy, not cloudy, galaxy, city light. It was just amazing. All the different stuff he's done with this one lighthouse. I have to go there.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, but it's a Point O'Bark Lighthouse Park. It is a beautiful park in the thumb of Michigan. Those of you who, if you live in Michigan, fantastic. It's along Highway 25, heading up to the thumb. If you go to, if you're in another state, like Minnesota is a good place to find some similarly looking lighthouses. But you may notice, Bob, if you're looking at that, there's some aurora behind the lighthouse and in that same lighthouse park. It's actually close enough and dark enough there to see distant aurora, which is great if you're not trying to travel quite as far to catch aurora. So, all different parts of I try to capture all different parts of the night sky. You'll see you'll see a lot of pictures of the moon. If you go all the way to the end of that, we had a conjunction that confused a number of people. Some thought it was aliens, some realized it was planets. Yeah, I can put my so those of you, it was not aliens, it was planets. And this is one of those things where when things are not reported in the media ahead of time, there may be confusion as to what's going on. Now, for
Which
astronomers,
they aren't.
Yeah, so for us astronomers, it's just a matter of, okay, that's Jupiter, that's Venus, we know what they are. We can put a telescope on it at any time. I took a picture, I have a picture of it over a house when I went out there. So it didn't surprise us, but then you're seeing even celebrities use their Instagram feed to try and surmise what these things are. And many people knew that they were planets. They were just sort of surprised that it kind of caught them by surprise. They were like, why didn't we know this was happening? So, part of our job is, whether we're amateur astronomers or or not, amateur astronomers, we're enthusiasts. We have to share with the folks that we come in contact with that what these things really are. It's a similar we saw that similar conjunction, I think, in 2021. We saw Jupiter and Saturn
in December.
like that in December. Because of its timing, the media's portrayal of the Christmas star. And here we're here. This is the Vatican full moon meetup. So whether or not it truly was a conjunction, that led the wise men to Jesus, it's one of the possibilities. But as astronomers, we understand exactly what's going on, and we understand that these planets are still far away from them. But it is a really interesting sight when you see the two bright planets together, in the same part of the sky. So it's something that we keep track of, and we help the general public along. They'll listen or they won't, but most are very interested in these things that are in the sky, and that's another use of the imaging that I do. I try and make my imaging look more realistic. If you go to these places, this is what you'll see. Now, I do enhance the Milky Way a little bit, and there's things there that show up with a camera sensor, because the sensor's a little better than our eyes at picking up colors and different things. But
so you're doing all of these with a
still there.
camera. You're not using a telescope on these?
Some I use a telescope. Most, if just about all of those, are with a camera. I have a modified camera that will cast a pinkish light on H alpha, the H alpha spectrum. So some of the deep space objects show up in in this more pinkish red. It's assigned a color. It's assigned a more pinkish color in the camera. And so some of the resulting images show some of these nebula, in emitting in HA light, and it not only adds to the picture, the overall picture, it also gives you more of an indication of what's really there. In some dark places, you can see those, but you don't see the color because you can't. Like you can see with binoculars or even naked eye, you can see the North American Nebula in a very dark site if you look over at the Cygnus region of the Milky Way, but it looks colorless because we can't see it in color.
I love your pictures of the frozen lake and the Milky Way here. Those are just gorgeous.
Frozen Lake,
About halfway down.
Summer Lake, yeah. Yeah, and I do try to shoot in all conditions. That can be tough to do, but when it's very, very cold, the sky is different. Sometimes the coldest nights are the clearest nights, and so I try to catch those.
You got any
And
zodiacal
like tonight, for
light?
instance. Yes, there are a couple. Take a look down. Let's see. I'll follow along with those of you that are looking. My zodiacal light pictures there were a couple. I first caught the zodiacal light, so not very far down. You'll see the aurora pictures and the lighthouse. And then you're going to see a dusk zodiacal light from spring. You'll see it next to a couple of sunsets. Well, there's a sunrise going through branches. I do have a background in.
Oh, there it is, right below the sunrise. Yeah.
Right below the sunrise.
Right next to the house. Wow.
There are a couple of spring zodiacal light images, and then if you go down further, past the partial eclipses, and a whole bunch of other, nice and neat shots that I took. I think you go all the way down.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, the zodiacal light is interplanetary dust that's in the plane of the ecliptic that is more visible in the spring and the fall, and it looks like a triangular thing sticking up out of the horizon, and he got a really good picture of it here.
Now, if you go down, further, ironically, it's near the next time I would capture aurora. There's a wedding that I was doing. A good friend of mine, Brian Adam, his daughter got married to Aaron.
You photographed his wedding, really? Dr. Brian Adam is an astronomer from southeastern Michigan. Know him too for a long time.
I helped photograph the wedding, and my main job was to DJ the wedding. So I was there. Brian was saying, there's aurora out there. And I said, okay, whatever you say. And so what I did is I went out there with my camera. I took some pictures, and sure enough, there's aurora there. So there are some pictures you're going to see. And one of them, you're going to see the married couple standing in front of the Castle Farms building, some bright lights, and some aurora behind them.
Yep.
So they ended up with kind of a once in a lifetime shot. That was after the main photographer had long since gone.
That would usually have to be Photoshop. That's real.
Yeah, that is real. Now, it is a composite. In order to get them standing still, I took a picture 15 seconds and layered them in where they stood, where the aurora was going behind them. I took another picture where I exposed more for the aurora. And so now the difference between just taking their picture, if I were to take their picture from somewhere else and then slap it in, that would be a little more disingenuous. That is exactly where they stood when I took the photo, and the composite is basically two pictures within 2 minutes of each other. So the scene is happening as we see it, but I use composite photos to show what's going on. When you have different elements that you have to expose for at a different time, I'll use the composite photos to do that. But like a lot of the photos you see below, there are a couple of composite photos. The one with the bright Milky Way kind of in the meadow area where the mesa is to the left. The first shot, the long exposure showing the structure of the Milky Way. And then the second shot showing the structure of the kind of that meadow that is in there. The end result is this is what it looks like depth of field wise. And what I wanted to point everyone to was, I'll go ahead and talk about it. Milky Way photography, which I love. There's more regions to the Milky Way than what a lot of folks may typically call Milky Way season. And with the core tends to be what a lot of people shoot at because it's very bright. It's the brightest part of the Milky Way. But if you look, there's 4 pictures below it. And those 4 pictures represent the parts of the Milky Way that we can see in the Northern Hemisphere. And you'll note that last one is the region where Orion is. And there is so much going on in that region. It really deserves more attention than it actually gets. So there's the region with the Andromeda Galaxy. There's dust lanes there too. Cassiopeia and Perseus are there. You can see M33 there most of the time when you expose for the Milky Way. There's a lot more beauty in the galactic plane.
Oh wow, there's another zodiacal light one down there too.
Yes, and that's where I was getting to. That's the
cool.
fall zodiacal light, and it makes a cross with the part of the Milky Way right there where Orion is. And in a dark enough sight, it's a beautiful thing to see. And right next to it, when I talked about I'll image, it's cloudy, so most imagers might not take that shot. But if you notice, you see where the Milky Way is. 30-second shot. You see camp, you see where the Milky Way is, you see where the clouds are. For those that go to the Explore Scientific Global Star Party, which we're going to have again later tonight, I talk about my composition in the photos and say this is what I was trying to accomplish, seeing the Milky Way peer out of the clouds. It's there's beauty there. It's okay for science to also be beautiful. And that's something I would say as far as another reason I like doing these sort of photos. So hopefully you all are following along, looking at my links, and you see the big thunderhead that's over there. You see more Cygnus region shots, me sitting in a hammock looking over Lake Huron. Then as you go down, you see a few other things like the total lunar eclipse. And you can see, the picture of the total lunar eclipse and among the stars. Always challenging myself to get images that are there, that show what a combination of what the eye sees and what is actually there. And the result can be, some places the Milky Way may show up a little more, some places it may not, but it's still a representation of what the sky looks like. Even the sky color makes a difference to me. So if I'm in a darker location, the sky color will change. It'll be a darker bluish black and even a gray. If you're out in space, it's completely black. I try not to color correct for the actual sky color because I like to show the contrast between, if the moon is out, you see a lighter blue color. If the moon's not out, you see a darker, and you're in a certain zone, you see a darker blue color. If you're where David is and you take the picture, you've got a much darker, you've got more contrast with a little hint of gray because of the way that the skies are. And when it's cloudy, the sky has a certain look. When there's distant light pollution, distant lights from a town, I usually leave those in. I try and marry the look of the sky with the scenery that I'm around. And as a result, I'm showing people this is where I was at the time I took this picture. This is the world that I'm capturing. And lately I've worked on capturing the moon to look exactly as it does, the correct size of the moon. a lot of moon shots. You know, you'll see this huge big moon and you'll see the landscape around it. The actual size of the moon in a certain, if it's a wide angle shot, the moon's size is actually much, much smaller than it may appear. And so that's, you know, just anything that you're seeing. I even have some annotated pictures, and there were some beautiful pictures of the comet, but they made the comet appear as bright as Comet Neowise was in 2020. And we all know it was bright, but not that bright, and you couldn't see that much structure. So the couple of pictures I do have featuring, you know, Comet Zwicky do not have the, you know, the big bright comets with the tails. I just simply captured kind of the comet the way that it looked against the night sky, you know, kind of capture the actual size of it in the night sky.
Doug Bach
Dr.
last
Dama-
night said that he actually caught that comet, ZTF. It's still visible.
Okay, yeah, I'm not surprised. It's yeah, it's got surprisingly bright, but you know, maybe not so much Neowise, but it still got bright, and then it dimmed out a little bit. Toward the bottom of that, toward the bottom of the picture links that I show, you'll see one of the pictures I took of the conjunction kind of the day before, where the planets were close. They hadn't arranged themselves kind of in the eyes position, but they were close. And then there are a couple more pictures I took of the moon. And there's actually a video there that I recently made for Simone that talks about my process of capturing the moon. And it's the photo, one of the moon photos above it was featured. So
Do you have a modified camera? Have you taken a special filter in or out of your camera?
I have one of my cameras is modified, and yes, the filter I've taken out is the HA filter. Most normal cameras come with two filters, an HA and an IR. I submitted my Canon 6D to a place called Spencer's Camera in Utah and took the filter out. So, or had them.
So how long have you
So
been
now
doing
the HA light.
were you doing come on, were you doing chemical processing, or have you always been digital?
I've always been digital. I started learning in the digital age. This was something, so bowling was, you know, where I am right now at Turbo 2-in-1 Grips, where I basically had a refresher lesson for myself. This was what my life was like. Lots of bowling, not much astronomy. And then as I got frustrated with that, I started to look into the astronomy world, and the two sort of subsisted. I got a camera from my job. Someone gave me a Canon 30D, and I said, I'll see what I can do with it. They had moved on to a different camera, and they just gave it to me. And that's where I started taking my first pictures. The very first picture in the on the screen was my first picture of the Milky Way using that Canon 30D and an old kit lens, and I just let it run for 49 seconds in a rural setting. And so you compare that picture to some of the pictures that I took at Okie-Tex this past summer, and you can see, you know, the differences in, you know, understanding the equipment. Getting some more modern equipment does help you, but it is a combination of equipment, knowing which exposures to take, and knowing what it is you want to share with those that are, you know, that you want to share the images with, capturing the type of detail that you want. And so it has been a process. I'll say I'm going on.
What other
10
star parties
years
do you go
of doing
to?
it.
You've been to Okie-Tex. Do you go to the Great Lakes Stargaze here in Michigan?
I've been there once. Okie-Tex has coincided with the Great Lake Stargaze, so I haven't been able to go to that.
Yeah, the Great Lakes
So
Stargaze is I'm putting
go
getting
one
a
time.
link for it right now. It's a Michigan party. Brother Guy and I gave talks there a couple years ago before COVID. There's the Great Lakes Stargaze.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I missed the talk that you guys gave. I went for one night, and I'll quickly tell the story because that was one of those, that was a teachable moment for me. I took a bunch of pictures, and I'm looking at the back of the camera, and I thought they were fine. The moment I I opened them up, donuts everywhere, every single one blurred.
Oh no!
And I lost a lot of pictures that I thought I had a lot of good pictures from Gladwin, from that star party, and I had none. I had maybe one, and I don't even know where that picture is anymore. So I learned to make sure of getting my process down, making sure focus is good. I know where on the camera the focus is, and I check the pictures. I zoom way in on the back of the camera, and if they stay pinpoints, I know I'm ready. Yeah, I did not want that cough on the podcast. So
I
had a
edit
dry
stuff.
throat.
You can't believe the stuff I edit out when I do the podcasts.
Oh, okay. Good.
Breathing,
There won't be a
yeah. Don't worry about it.
yeah.
Anything that doesn't belong there, I can edit out.
Cool.
So, so you've been a member of the Warren Astronomical Society for about what, 3 years now? When did you start getting into astronomy?
I think so.
Yeah, I've known you for about 3 years now.
See, I'd say that'd be about I'd say it's about 15 years ago that I got into astronomy. And that started University Lowbrow Astronomers. A year before the Lowbrow Astronomers, I started dabbling on my own. I went to a place to see if I could see the Milky Way naked eye, and I managed to do that. Later on, I've actually commemorated that moment with a picture in that gallery. If you look for a picture of the Milky Way in a cornfield, and there's some power lines going across, and I'm just standing there looking at the Milky Way. That's what it was like some 15 odd years ago when I went out there just to see if I could see the Milky Way naked eye. It for whatever reason, it became a project. And then I joined the Lowbrows a year later and learned how to view through a telescope, and it's just taken off ever since. I also, David is here. David, if you're still here, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention one of my greatest influences in wanting to capture stars in the night sky with a camera is went to a talk for Saturday morning physics, I believe, at the University of Michigan. Dr. David Levy was there, gave a talk about, his life as an amateur astronomer, his love for the night sky, and a picture that he was proud of. He aimed it right at Crux when he was in the Southern Hemisphere. And he got a picture of the 4 stars of the Southern Cross, showed it to us. It wasn't the best picture anyone could take. It was around near a hotel, but those 4 stars did something in me that said you can catch starlight with cameras. And I set off on a journey to do just that, and I'm still in that journey.
Have you taken
that?
Have you taken Southern Hemisphere pictures?
Yeah. Not yet. I do have my passport. It finally showed up. So Southern Hemisphere pictures are in my future.
Hey, my wife says she has to go to New Zealand. Let's go.
Yeah, that's one of the places. One of my goals, and I don't know if I'll be able to time it, so it's a loose goal, but one of my goals is to finish David's picture with the Southern Cross in the position that it was in when David took that picture. I want to have an image that shows the Southern Milky Way flowing through that part of the Southern Cross and on towards Eta Carinae and on towards where the Magellanic Clouds are. that is a goal of mine, to finish the picture. And that's, hopefully I will be able to do it within the next couple years. So, next question.
Anybody have any questions for Adrian? Coming up on 8 minutes left here, so
I could ask a question, please?
go ahead.
Hi, Adrian.
Yes.
Hi, thank you so much. This is fantastic. How about these communication satellites buzzing around? Do they interfere with your photography?
They do sometimes. It's not only the communication satellites, though. For the type of photography I do, planes, meteors, anything projecting itself through the sky will interfere. If I do a closer, a little more classic astrophotography shot, yes, you can. Some of the geosynchronous satellites are there. If you take enough of those images and stack, you end up whittling those out. But yeah, they are there. I work through them. Sometimes I'll take another shot. So yeah, you'd be surprised. I have more issue with the planes sometimes than I do, because I'll get ready to shoot some photos and suddenly it's just very busy. Plane after plane after plane is leaving the streak in all of my images. So I contend with even more.
I know that some of the astrophotography software, the stacking software and stuff, now has the ability to remove the satellites specifically, which is kind of sad that has to be there at all, but there you go.
And it's been there for a while. It's the inconvenience that it causes. I'll do that. Is that astrophotographers, especially if you're going after a single target in space, you're not trying to capture the landscape or any of the other stuff that I like to do. If you're going after a single target in space, you have to take more frames. So you have to have your equipment capture more pictures, basically, in order to get enough pictures of the object to be able to siphon out any picture where the satellite shot through it or a group of satellites shot through it. There are other things that actually show up in a lot of pictures. Sky glow, for instance. The darker it is, the more likely you're going to see sky glow in your picture. So even if it's completely dark to the eyes, your image may have this orangish glow, this greenish glow that may not be aurora, but may actually be sky glow.
I know you like
so
going up to
covers the area.
Michigan's Lower Peninsula. You've taken pictures near to Quamanon Falls, haven't you?
Yep, it's the Upper Peninsula, actually. It is a little darker up there.
Have you been up to the Keweenaw Peninsula? Way up
Not
in the
yet.
Upper Peninsula. That's
That
my
one
old
I haven't
stomping.
been to yet.
That's my old stomping grounds, Michigan Tech, and it is so dark up there. I brought my telescope up there after I got it, set it up, looked up in the sky, and like, I can't find any of my guide stars. There's too many stars here, and it's the weird thing when you're driving your car at night, your headlights just get sucked into the blackness around you. It's so dark up there. It's very cool.
Yeah.
And you want aurora. You mentioned peace when you look up at the sky. My wife and I, when we were up at Michigan Tech, we used to put blanket out on the Lake Superior beach and just ogle at the sky and the aurora and stuff. And yeah, it's a great feeling of peace. A friend of mine just posted a picture. Here's here's out my front window, and it was aurora, much like you caught there. Just yikes.
Yeah, the big thing I like about it is looking up sometimes helps you remember there are things bigger than ourselves, our egos here on the planet, the issues that we face, political or otherwise. And for me, it's like hitting a reset button. And I love and a part of me says, well, I'm out here, I should just capture some of it and try and share it with others. And that's how that's essentially how the doing the night photography gained steam. As I started to share these images I'd pick up, I was getting, you know, a lot of good feedback, especially from David, who has joined us. David, you were a huge reason that I continued going. Your glowing, you know, I'll say praise, but you know, your support of the images and what they represent. One thing that I've admired about, you know, astronomers like David, we love the night sky. We genuine, it is the star. We are showing what the night sky is about, and that's the focus I try to take in my pictures. You'll see some beautiful pictures, and a lot of these pictures, however, there'll be some information missing. There'll be some nebula that are smoothed out. There'll be some other things going on, and you know, it points more towards the skill of the photographer rather than the night sky that he's or she are sharing. And I try to steer clear of that sort of photography just because, yes, it's beautiful, but I don't want the beauty, you know, because, well, I did this and I did that, and therefore, you know, I know how to take this and make it a beautiful image. I don't want to point the finger towards me. My goal is to capture nature as it is, as it exists, and let that be the star. Pun intended, I guess. Maybe let it be the star. Stars in the night sky. The light from all those stars is what fascinates us, keeps us coming back. And, you know, regardless of equipment, regardless of, you know, what process you make, how good you are at processing things, what matters most is what it is that you're taking a picture of. And that's what I try to convey in the images. So if it sets mine apart from others like it, that's great. But one of my mentors is Alan Dyer, who I think his photography is very similar. He captures things as they happen and shows them off in a brilliant, beautiful way. You know, imagers that make us want to be in the places that they are shooting. I think that's how I prefer to do it. There's a time and a place for sort of the fantasy images that don't look like they occur on Earth. There can be some redeeming quality about those if it gets people interested in the night sky. You know, however it's done, or it shows the beauty of a place somewhere, like those places in the Upper Peninsula. I'd love to go to those, Bob.
Oh, they're
and
awesome.
see what I could, you know, see what I can
I
capture
go
from
back
there.
there frequently. So we had a question in the chat
Yeah.
asking about tours of the VAT. I copied some information from our fact page. We are starting, well, there are tours. We're not doing it. Discovery Park is doing it. So all that information has just been copied in the chat. But we are at the 1 o'clock point, so we've got to wrap this up. I'd like to thank Adrian Bradley for being our guest today. And thank you everyone for
Thank
coming.
you. My apologies for being a little late. Glad I got a chance to share some of my passion with you all. And,
so yeah, he shared those pictures in the chat. You should really zoom into some of those because some of those pictures are just gorgeous and they're very high res. But again, thank you and bye everyone. See you next month at the full moon.
God bless. Thank you, everybody. God bless.
Oh, I missed a message. Oh, shoot. Oh, there you go. All right. Bye, everyone. Closing it down. See ya.
Bye-bye.